Vikings fans, rejoice! Blake Cashman's return could be the game changer we've all been waiting for. Imagine the thrill of seeing your team's key defender back on the field after a frustrating injury setback. But here's where it gets intriguing. Will this spark a defensive renaissance? Or is there more to unpack about his reliability? Let's dive into the details of this exciting development from the Minnesota Vikings. In a move that's sure to energize their lineup, the Minnesota Vikings have officially activated linebacker Blake Cashman from injured reserve on Saturday. This brings the crucial defensive stalwart back into action for the first time since the season opener, ahead of their matchup against the Philadelphia Eagles this Sunday at US Bank Stadium. For those new to NFL jargon, injured reserve, often called IR, is a roster designation that sidelines players recovering from injuries, removing them from active duty for at least a few weeks. Think of it as a mandatory timeout to heal without rushing back prematurely. Cashman, who had been sidelined by a hamstring injury sustained during Week 1, while relentlessly pursuing Chicago Bears quarterback Caleb Williams toward the sideline, is poised to step back into a starting role. To put this in perspective, a hamstring pull is a common yet painful setback in football, often caused by explosive movements like sprinting and cutting, and it can sideline players for several games as they rebuild strength through rehab exercises. Cashman kicked off the season as the Vikings' defensive playcaller, a vital role where he coordinates the team's defensive strategies on the field, logging 47 snaps and recording 3 tackles in their victory over the Bears. In his absence, veteran Eric Wilson has been holding down the fort as the starter, and it's possible he'll continue to rotate in alongside Cashman and fellow inside linebacker Ivan Pace Jr. This rotation approach is a smart strategy in the NFL, allowing coaches to manage player fatigue and injuries while keeping the unit versatile. Just like a basketball coach, subbing in players to maintain energy throughout a game. And this is the part most people miss. Despite a career peppered with injuries that have tested his durability, Cashman has proven to be an invaluable asset since the Vikings signed him prior to the 2024 season. The numbers tell a compelling story. The team boasts a stellar 13-1 record in games where he's started, compared to a more modest 4-4 when he's been out. It's a stark contrast that highlights his impact. Yet it raises eyebrows. Does this disparity reflect Cashman's undeniable talent? Or could it point to deeper issues with the team's depth? Fans often debate this. Some argue he's indispensable, while others wonder if relying on one player is a recipe for disappointment. Now, here's where opinions diverge. With Cashman's injury history, is he worth the risk? Or should the Vikings focus on building a more resilient lineup? What do you think? Will his return propel the Vikings to another win over the Eagles? Or are there underlying concerns that could trip them up? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear if you agree that Cashman's comeback is a bold move, or if there's a counter-argument I've overlooked. Let's keep the conversation going.